Intern Joe, how's it going?
Great.
You know, we missed having you on last week.
Yeah, I think Rich did pretty good. He did really good, actually.
Talking. Oh, did
He's more vocal.
You watched it?
I watched some of it.
You watched some of it. So we were talking, bike wash, and I don't think the whole theme show thing is really going to be something we're going to do a lot of. But considering how hard it's been to get guests over here, especially with the snow and everything, yeah, it's fun. Like this one. We don't have a guest. We have you, although you feel like a guest because you weren't here last week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too great on the bike wash one because I don't use butt plugs. I just make sure I don't shoot water in the exhaust. How hard's that?
Thank you.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. Take her from a different angle. That's not what she said.
Don't do this to me. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's one way to start Moto Monday. Moto Monday number 84. And we're going to talk about marijuana and motocross. And do they mix? This one is going to get some people going. I know that already, but I feel like considering what got brought up recently on where did the AMA make their, I think it was, well, I guess social media. They made their statement about how they will not be allowing CBD sponsors at any of the Supercross and I believe any of the motocross rounds this year. It got me a little fired up. As someone who's not a stoner. I mean, Joe, back me up. Am I a stoner?
No.
Do I even act like someone who's ever been a stoner?
Nope.
I'm not a stoner. And so, I mean, if anything, I'll make fun of people who are stoners just for the fun of it. I don't really care. But like, I'm the furthest thing from a stoner. And when I've been seeing some people like spreading some hate about that, we're going to talk about this. Like, you don't even know my angle yet. You don't even know where I'm coming from. And my only angle and the only purpose of the show would be to spread information. And I don't want to push an agenda because I don't have an agenda. I have no agenda, especially marijuana and motocross. I have no agenda. There's no agenda for me there. I'm not involved with any company that is selling anything THC, CBD based, hemp based, anything. Although we are drinking, what are these? Mount Joy sparkling CBD waters. So I got lemon lime. Do you have the same?
Yes.
So we're going to have CBD water as we do Moto Monday today. First taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
Very light sparkle to it. Not like a soda. It's more like a, what are those? Perrier? Is it Perrier? Perrier waters? Is that how you say it? I know they're. So. It was Ricky Bobby's big competition sponsored by them. Kind of like that. And so yeah, these are Mount Joy CBD sparkling waters. They have 10 milligrams of CBD, which is actually a lot more than I was expecting. I don't know if these can be sold in stores. I just noticed gas stations and grocery stores are selling CBD water now, and I don't know what they have in them. I've never honestly really had them. It says it kicks in 15 minutes. Now I will say I have taken CBD. I'm not a regular user though. I have some, but it's not something I really use a lot. I really have no use for THC. Personally, it's not really my thing. CBD, though, does have some anti-inflammatory properties that I do like, which we're going to start off with that in a minute. I'm just reading the ingredient. I have literally not even read this yet, so.
All I see is zero
Mount
carbs,
Joy.
So that's good.
Okay, so. Yeah, we're going to have a couple call-ins to some professional top-level athletes who use CBD. And then I'm going to go in and I'm probably going to have a small rant. Bear with me, guys. And no, I'm not drinking on the show. I'm only having my CBD water. I'll move it out of the way here. But I'm going to have a small rant. I'm going to get out of the way. But we're going to talk about what exactly CBD is. And the differences between CBD, hemp, and THC. Because they're all very different. And there's a difference. So I want to start off with saying, if you're going to judge something from the plant it came from as a stigma that surrounds it and say that it's bad, I believe that is coming from a place of
Ignorance.
Because I know we have this huge stigma, and it honestly goes back to, was it William Randolph Hearst? Did I say it? I hope I got his name right. Do you know the story about him?
Nope.
So his family still is one of the largest magazine, like media companies in the world. Okay. So back in the day, he had all these paper farms. Well, hemp actually makes some really good paper. So to get rid of the competition, so when it come in and take, I mean, he didn't have the money to go switch completely over from pulp to, hemp and all the, the machines and everything. And, now this is going off of memory from something I read well over a year ago. So I might butcher a few details. I apologize, guys. But basically he was, someone came out with a process to better quickly make hemp paper. And so to shut it down before it really picked up, he starts a whole propaganda on how cannabis, he renamed it marijuana, was this Mexican weed plant that all these, white ladies were smoking, and then they were getting gang raped by black guys. And dude, if you look up all the crazy stories he used to run in his newspapers, ridiculous stuff. And it was all because of this plant marijuana, which everyone knew as cannabis, but it's marijuana. He renamed it and everything. So, didn't take long, made it illegal, boom. It's been a stigma ever since. No, guys, and once again, I'm not a crazy stoner. I don't smoke. I don't really have a use for it. But fair is fair. Fair is always fair. The truth is what matters to me. And there's a lot of truth here that a lot of people don't know. So that's where it all started for marijuana. That's where it went all downhill. It's just starting to get back into society on a mainstream level other than Snoop Dogg songs. So there's a difference between CBD, THC, and the main thing is you can't get high off of the CBD properties of the cannabis plant. And CBD products cannot be sold without, I think it is the 0.03%, anything higher than 0.03% THC to it. So basically, you can't get high. You can't get high off it. So, when the AMA said we cannot support this, we're going to go into more of that. What really kind of grinds my gears is like, well, it's a product, though, that you can't get high. If you can get intoxicated, we can have a discussion. Or you don't want to go deep, we can have a discussion about all the different national champions who've smoked weed right before their motos too, but we're really not going to go do that. We're especially not going to name names. Jeff Emig, I love you, bro.
Jeff Matasevich, we love you.
Oh!
Ron Lachine, we love you.
I forgot about Matasevich. I just remember that Emig, what was it, like a Pepsi can or something they found residue on? Or that was a big deal. I mean, he got shamed pretty bad for that, and that kind of like ended his real racing career.
Matasevich like Havasu. Didn't Emig get in some trouble there?
Emig's got in trouble a few times. Yeah. I love him though. I love Emig.
He was always seemed to be the clean guy. So,
but yeah, that was bad. But okay, so I was smoking weed. There's a difference between CBD and weed. CBD products, if they, right now, to be sold, I believe it is 0.03%. If they have anything more than that, they cannot be sold in normal stores. You have to go to a weed shop and get that. But 0.03% or less THC. So basically, this bottle of water right here, we're going to drink the whole thing. We are not going to get high whatsoever. I mean, if we do, we can talk about it. I mean, if we're going to get proved wrong, by all means, we can get proved wrong. Because like I said, the truth is what matters. But pretty sure we're not going to get high from this.
If I start smiling a lot, that means I got high off the water.
I don't think we're going to get high. And so that's my thing. There's a big difference. THC is what gets you high. And if you want to talk about THC before your moto, we have more of a discussion because anything that could intoxicate you or slow down your reflexes or make you make poor decisions in a race situation, we now have a real discussion and that needs to be addressed. Yeah. However, taking a product that does not have any psychoactive properties or does not get you high, we don't have the same kind of discussion.
Yeah. So slower reaction times.
And the fact that, one thing that really blows my mind, you cannot have a logo on your bike for CBD, right? Mm-hmm. Like this Mount Joy. You cannot have Mount Joy on your motorcycle. However, you can have a brand that sells salvia.
I don't even know what that is.
Salvia is one of the most powerful hallucinogenic drugs you can get. Well, drug, plant, whatever you want to call it. It's a plant that you can buy anywhere. You know, all sorts of farms have it. A lot of people actually chew it to get like a nice little warm, you know, buzz and stuff. But if you smoke it, you'll start speaking to Jesus. It is insanely powerful, and you can go buy it anywhere. So you can have that. That's fine. You can have something that's literally probably stronger than mushrooms on your bike. You can have salvia, but you can't have CBD.
Tide Pods. You can run Tide on your.
You can have Tide Pods. Thank you. Thank you. You can have Tide Pods. Oh, yeah, dude, it's so silly to me, which we're going to go into that at the very end. But first, we're going to talk to some people who are smarter than me about the CBD thing. Like I said, I'm not a regular user of any marijuana products. I do have some CBD. I don't use it a lot because I have other anti-inflammatory stuff that I can use that are cheaper, honestly. If we're going to get down to it, it's the price. CBD, especially for good therapeutic doses, is a little spendy.
Yeah, no shit.
It's a little spendy, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I was using CBD drops last month. My dad had some shoulder problems. My mom's a nurse. My dad's a retired state patrolman. He was taking CBD, so I figured I'd try it. So I was doing a half a droplet in the morning and then a half a droplet after
dropper
work.
fold, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had no effect on my mental abilities. Didn't feel anything, but I felt better too, though. Body pains and stuff like that.
So for my experience, I've tried both topical and I've tried the tinctures where you put under your tongue. Yeah. And I found out that the normal recommended dose, you pretty much have to triple that to start feeling anything, in my opinion, for me.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped with like aches and pains after racing. You hit the ground, like... what is that? Every other moto, you're bound to have something. Right now, I'm moving a little sore because I took a little jaunt off into the woods.
Yeah,
and in my moto, so it actually works pretty good for that. Like, it's not like a codeine type effect, painkiller, but it does have some form of pain killing effect and anti-inflammatory. And the topical was great, especially for like if you pull a muscle or have a really sore area to really massage that in. It worked pretty good.
Yeah, it's yeah, it was like $150 a bottle, so I only got one bottle.
Oh, what?
I tried it for a month. It was good stuff, I guess. And
do you remember how strong it was? That's some expensive stuff.
I don't remember, but
you paid way more than me.
It was researched by my mom and stuff. And,
okay. So you got the good stuff.
Yeah, I only did it for a month, and now I'm gonna try to see how I feel without it, just because $150 a month's a lot. It's a lot of money. I mean,
and that's why I don't use CBD a lot, is the price.
Yeah.
And I have other stuff. I have a topical peppermint oil mixture that I actually make myself that's really good for that. Topical magnesium, a few other things that are good for that. But however, I have used CBD and I did like it. It was just a bit spendy, but it works. And never once have I ever felt high. We're going to find out. We're going to drink this whole water on the show. If we start feeling high, by all means, we can report that you do. But so far, do you feel high?
No. And I've bought it at the store, the CBD oil or water, and drank the whole thing, and I didn't feel any sort of effects that were a negative mental effect.
So let's talk to someone who probably knows a lot more about this than you and me. We're going to call in to Robert Haslam, who is a X Games medalist, a career freestyle motocrosser. He has called in already once before. We've talked about a little bit of what he's done in the Winter X Games. And we're going to get his opinion on all this. Let me make sure I get his number right, because every once in a while I dial the wrong number. Make sure I don't put it out for the whole social media world either. Okay.
You got it. It's the right number.
Hey, you were listening too. What's up, man?
Hey, not much. How are you guys?
Oh, doing pretty good. Appreciate you letting us give you a call here tonight, man. So we've done one call in for you already. One of these days we will get you in studio though.
Totally. Yeah, as soon as the snow stops happening for Northwest, it'll make it a little easier to travel.
So where are you from? What town are you in?
I actually live up in, I don't even know if I should say, because I probably have a bunch of guys trying to look for my place and try to find a spot to ride. But I'm up in Ording, up here in Washington, so
So that's
not too
way
close to
north.
the beaten path from Tacoma.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
I'm up
way
a
way
little bit.
north.
Yeah.
No. So do you have snow right now? Because we have no snow.
I've still got, probably 3-4 inches in places in my house, but I'm on top of a hill, kind of near the base of our air.
Okay. Yeah, because
So
there's some spots in Washington right now that are crazy amounts of snow, and then we just have rain here down in Vancouver. We just have rain.
yeah, no, right now it's like that weird in between where I'm looking outside, I can see bare dirt in places, but I still can't ride, so it's frustrating.
Well, could be worse then. Well, talk to me here, man. So I'm calling in to you because you are someone who's apparently a regular user of CBD, and you're also a professional athlete. Some people already definitely know who you are, but for those who don't, I don't know, you're a freestyler. You got what was that, bronze medal last year at X Games?
Yeah, 2018 bronze medalist, and then this year I ended up 5th overall. We fought through quite a bit, just trying to get back to X Games through training, and since we're on the CB topic, I mean that stuff kind of carried me through my training this year. I ended up getting hurt in the foam pit training, and I swear that stuff was super critical in just maintaining my body being able to do what it needed to do.
So yeah, you're a guy. I'm sure you've gotten banged up a couple times on your dirt bike, right?
Oh
Just a
yeah,
couple
I mean
times.
just
I
like
mean, I'm
any of
just
it.
assuming, especially considering you're a freestyler. Like, I'm assuming at some point learning a trick, it didn't go quite right. You've hit the ground. And I mean, in the past, like, what do you do? Let's say you take a digger, and I kind of call this like the motocrosser's curse. And this is almost a topic for a different show, but like every motocrosser at some point is going to get hurt, right? You ride a bike, it's an extreme sport, you're going really fast, you're going to get hurt sometime. And at some point, you're probably going to get prescribed pills. Problem with those is that can lead down a dark path. You may be fine, you take some pills, once you get feeling better, you're all good to go. Other people never get off the pills. That's kind of why I'm a fan, though, of some of these other products, such as like CBD, to help mitigate pain, inflammation, all the kind of stuff that comes with riding a dirt bike. And but like I said, I was saying on the show, I'm not a regular CBD user. So for the people who have no idea the differences between CBD and THC, I mean, you want to spit it in your words? What's the difference? Because I mean,
Totally, totally.
there's a huge
So
difference.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I guess kind of just to snowball on how you kind of opened up the show, like I myself have never been a pothead, never smoked marijuana a day in my life. I mean, I didn't even have a drop of alcohol until I was just before 21. So I mean, I was as straight laced as it got growing up. And with the CBD thing, prior to that, I mean, just like every other motocross guy, ibuprofen, any different topicals you could find in the pharmacies, whether it's Tiger Balm or any of the other stuff to try and work. And things kind of worked here and there, but nothing I ever found really worked, as great as they claimed. I mean, I'm even the guy that, if you do have to go to the hospital after a wreck, I refuse ibuprofen from the doctors. Like, I don't want anything. Like, to me, I don't want to mask it. I want to know what's going on so that I can, see and feel what my body's doing to see what I need to do next.
Yeah.
And, so the CBD thing, when it kind of came about, I had kind of reached out a little bit after seeing this one company in particular, and I've seen some of these comments going on. But so the sponsor I've got, CBDMD, and that's who Reed just got sponsored by.
Okay.
So that's where part of the controversies wrapped around. But I had started talking to them a bit, and just like a handful of other guys that were running their product, I was skeptical, just because some of the claims that were being thrown out there about how well the stuff works and this and that. I mean, you can't help but be skeptical about it. So they had sent me some samples to try, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or toot their own horn, but I swear this stuff, like, compared to like ibuprofen or anything else you could take, within minutes would take inflammation down, take pain away, like the topical side of things. And then that's not even including like the tincture drops, like you guys were mentioning, the benefits that I've noticed from that. It's just incredible. Like, there's a product out there that's all natural, that doesn't mess you up, that's 100% legal, that I look at it and I'm like, where was this 10 years ago when I started hitting the ground riding freestyle?
And that's always a tough thing is like if you do get hurt, and in which motocross it's like when you get hurt, what do you take? And I feel like a lot of people, they're afraid of the stigma of marijuana. Like CBD, that's weed. That's going to make you do all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, but you're taking ibuprofen. NSAID, I mean, if you take ibuprofen every day, those NSAIDs are going to absolutely wreck your liver. Like that stuff is not actually good for you. And I'm surprised at how many people will ignore some things because of a stigma, but they'll actually take something worse for their body. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've taken ibuprofen and I have ibuprofen, but that stuff's not good for you. I mean, there's been studies done. That stuff is horrible for your liver. And I feel like, though, anything that can help, well, I don't know. There's always a yin and a yang. If anything helps here, it might hurt over here. So it's always a delicate balance. And especially when like trying to manage pain, you can try to make the pain go away, but you can wreck a different part of your body, especially once you get to opiates. That's a whole different, that's a whole different topic. We could have a whole show on that. We could have 3 shows on that, but I think it's a tough thing, but I feel like CBD is not a bad choice. It has very limited side effects that I'm aware of. I mean, unless you know of some others, but have you had any like weird drug interactions or any like bad experiences taking too much? I'm assuming not topically, but maybe from tinctures or anything like that.
To be honest, no. And I did so much of the homework side of things, like researching this before I decided to sign a contract with this company for 19. And, just because, like I said, I was never that guy that was into taking anything. I mean, like I said, barely even drinking alcohol until I was legal age. So to me, there was that side of it. But then on the other side, like you're saying, the stigma, with the freestyle side of things, what me and my wife do with our business and our show program in the spring, summer, like we're very family oriented. So, we don't want to have that connotation added to us where it looks like we're just a bunch of punks, especially with the freestyle scene and the stigma it already has. But being that they sponsored Nitro Circus, Nitro Circus has that clean cut family image. To me, that was kind of the turning point where I got more and more into the research of things and the product itself and was okay with it. And then after having used the product and seen the benefits firsthand, to me, my wife, my friends that have tried it, I mean, it's just day in, day out, it proves to me that it works. And it's just, now in society, it's just trying to break that stigma. And I think that's a lot of where this rule from the AMA is. I think they're more concerned with the stigma of it and people that don't want to educate themselves and, look at the benefits that outweigh just the crap behind it, essentially.
Yeah. I feel like the stigma is kind of killing it because, I mean, there's a lot of elements to cannabis, more than just CBD and THC. I mean, there's a lot of different cannabinoids out there, and not all of them are psychoactive that get you that high. And I feel like a lot of people want to throw that blanket statement, if you back up anything that comes from that plant, you're stoner. Well, well, you just told me yourself that, I mean, you definitely don't sound anything like a stoner. And I'm not judging stoners, but like if you want to, if that's a very common blanket statement, but you're not, I'm not a stoner. Joe's definitely not a stoner. Nope. And, but I don't think we need to ignore, just because we're not stoners doesn't mean we can't recognize, but maybe there are beneficial parts to a plant that has a bad rep, let's say to the general population. I just, you don't hear about really any bad interactions with CBD. I mean, we're drinking CBD water right now. Oh, Joe's already finished his. Mm-hmm. We're drinking CBD water. The only thing I've really heard, like maybe if you took too much, too much of the tincture, you get an upset stomach. But topical, I don't even know if you can. I mean, have you heard of anyone having like a really bad CBD interaction? Or, I mean, you just don't hear about it.
No, I haven't heard anything. And this company also, they make bath bombs you can just drop in the tub and then soak. And I've done plenty of those. And I mean, if you're going to get too much CBD, it's going to be from one of those because you're literally just bathing in the water that's coated in it and nothing. I mean, all I've noticed out of that is you wake up the next day feeling awesome. Like all your muscles are loose. Like, you don't have any foggy head or any of that kind of stuff that people think that you're going to get because of, marijuana has THC. Well, this stuff doesn't have any of that. It's literally just the cannabinoid. And I think it's funny because, your body naturally has a cannabinoid system that knows how to react to this stuff when you put it in there. Like your body actually produces, it in your body naturally in smaller amounts, and different plants do also. So it's kind of funny that everything kind of culminates to immediately the far side of things and all the bad negatives that people can throw at it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it just comes from ignorance, like, yeah, we have cannabinoid receptors in our bodies, and we have, and more than just that, I mean, our bodies actually, I'm going off to the left field, bear with me for half a moment, but, we can naturally produce, and we do, dimethyltryptamine, which is
Totally.
and DMT, the most powerful hallucinogenic that you could possibly take. Our body actually naturally produces a little bit, and that's why we can get the high, because it knows what to do with the chemical. Granted, you go take a good DMT trip, you're flooding your system with way more than you will ever make, unless you're dying. But like, it knows what to do with that. Abuse is where the problem comes in. Whether that, but that we're going into something psychoactive here, obviously, and just like THC and all that kind of stuff. But CBD is not psychoactive, and that's where I mean, we could have a lot longer discussion on the THC part and whether that should be allowed, not allowed. Can you race high? Does it impair you? But on the CBD side, I am having a hard time finding an argument of where it does you harm. I've only done this maybe a few dozen times. I'm not a regular user. I have some other stuff I like to use, but I mean, when I take it, it kind of just helps. I usually take it after a good crash, and it's not like a painkiller, but it definitely helps. I mean, for someone who's never taken any form of CBD ever, could you describe what it's like to take some of this? And actually,
Totally.
before you do that, what's your favorite way to take it?
Man, that's a loaded question, because I use the topicals every day. I use the tinctures every day. The bath bombs I use as needed. So I mean, it just depends, I guess, on the injury or what you're dealing with. Really, like, I've got two products sitting right in front of me right now. One of them is more geared towards like just pain at the moment,
Okay.
and the other is more geared towards like the inflammation side of things. So if you have an injury that's kind of been nagging you for a bit, the recover, as they call it, it's an inflammation formula that's got, if you read the back, the carrier oil that carries the CBD itself is coconut oil, and then there's aloe leaf juice, there's arnica flower, which a lot of these muscle creams that you find in pharmacies that are accepted in normal day-to-day society have arnica flower in them. And then there's probably a list of 30 to 40 different essential oils. And I heard you mention peppermint oil. Well, that's in this stuff right here. And dude, it zaps the inflammation out, like almost like if you were to just throw an ice pack on your leg. But then it has added benefits from all the oils and stuff. And then like the tincture oils, for instance, like I get up in the morning and just with my cup of coffee, I start my day with a drop of the tincture. And then before bed, same thing. I take a drop of the tincture, and I've noticed I sleep better. I'm better able to manage my anxiety, which for motocross guys, we suppress quite a bit of fear and deal with quite a bit of that mental side of things. And, I think a lot of people listening right now could probably relate to that. And I swear that the tincture stuff has helped me with that big time, which if that's the only benefit I got from taking it, I will take it hands down.
Oh, well, for sure. So, yeah, I guess we didn't even go. I mean, we've been mostly just talking about pain, but there are other things CBD is good for, more than just managing pain or aches and pains or anti-inflammatory. There's a lot behind it. I think we'll find out more. I don't really see it as a miracle drug. I think a lot of claims are a little crazy. I've heard everything from it will cure all your cancer and all this. Like, I don't jump on that. I'm all for alternative medicine in a variety of ways, but the problem with alternative medicine community is they get a little ahead of themselves. You know what I mean? You start hearing some pretty wild, wacky stuff. Um, so I'm not going to buy all of it. I don't personally believe CBD is a cure-all, but I don't see a problem with it. I think it just is another tool for managing a variety of reasons, or a variety of, not reasons, but a variety of things you may be dealing with, especially as someone who's an athlete. Yeah, I like that you brought up stress. I never even touched on that yet, but do you find, like, so you would consider yourself a regular user of CBD, right?
Absolutely, yeah, daily.
Okay. So do you think that helps manage stress levels?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. And one thing I can add to that is, I've been taking it now for several months with the sponsorship, and I get to the point where I'm, you kind of question things. It's just a natural progression of things, and like, okay, is this stuff really doing what I think it was doing? And there's been times where, I've been on the road here and there, and maybe I've ran out or I forgot to bring some of the tincture with me. And so, 2, 3, 4, 5 days without taking it, I start noticing like some of those traits that I was describing, like the anxiety or the stress, like starting to build. And then the minute I get home and I can get back on my regimen of taking the tincture, all that stuff starts to kind of subside again and starts to balance out. Like, and not like that it like curbs it or masks it. This is how I feel like I normally should be without the day-to-day stresses that I have. So I feel like it just kind of brings like that homeostasis of where your body's supposed to be to a neutral state, and kind of helps sift through the noise and the day-to-day crap that you deal with whether you're even just sitting in traffic, for instance, like people that just work normal jobs.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is one thing I noticed. It was minor. It's not something that you could really feel hit you, but it did seem to, work for anxiety. And everyone is different. I'm sure there's other people who may not really feel, and there's some other people may have a huge difference if they started taking CBD. But I've heard from some people that take it merely for anxiety. So, there's a bunch of different things I think it's good for. I feel like this is something that we should really discuss though, because it's like getting demonized, but I don't think something that is non-psychoactive should be demonized. Like I said, the THC side, we can have a lot deeper discussion on whether you can't, or you should, you shouldn't, how much is allowed, all that, if you are getting high. It's just like alcohol. It's the same thing as that is, when there's a right time and there's a wrong time to have a beer. We can have way more of a discussion on when you can, but on something that does not and has been proven to not get you high, I don't see why we would want to demonize it. That's my opinion. And that's, but, by all means, I got a couple other call-ins I have to take here in a few too. So, but if anyone disagrees, by all means, we can discuss that. But I don't see why we should demonize something if it's not psychoactive.
I agree 100%.
Especially,
I think the big piece here is just education.
Exactly. And hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of that with this show. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about that. Someone who has kind of been there, done that. You've gotten to the top of your game. You have an X Games medal. So, someone who's gone further than 99.9% of us in the sport. And I think, your opinion is valued. So, and especially since you say you're a regular user of it, you can tell people what it's like. So, I do. I'm just checking the time. I do have to take another call, actually, to another guy who likes to play on snow bikes, Darren Mees, opposite side of the Northwest. But we're going to call into him too. But before I let you go, though, anything else you want to throw out about this topic, or anything you got before I let you go?
Well, I mean, like I said, I would just encourage people just to educate themselves instead of just listening to the media, or whether it's the AMA or just whatever, really. Like, take the time to look into it yourself, an unbiased source, and dig and find anything and everything you can before you go out there and just start throwing hate speech and hate mail out there. Like, 'cause that stuff spreads so much faster than the good side of things and the benefits of it. Like, give stuff a chance. It's like you said, it's not the THC side of it. Like, CBD is completely different than the THC, the stoner culture. Like, it has a medical purpose. It has a time and a place. It is not a cure-all, but it is, a really, really good tool that you can add to the rest of your tools that you use on a daily basis. So that's my 2 cents. And, if I can be one more voice to kind of shed the stigma of it and help someone else along the way that it can benefit, then I've done my job.
Okay. Before I let you go, we got to at least approach this. I said I'd be talking about marijuana. So we'll get spicy here. What do you think about people smoking before they ride? We'll THC side. What do you think about guys getting blazed before they ride?
Like I said,
Personal
I've
opinion.
never been that person.
Okay.
I've been around plenty of guys in the freestyle scene especially, I mean, that's kind of been the stigma with that from the beginning, that that's what they've done and that's what they've been able to use as their tool to cope. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but that's completely on them. If they want to do that, by all means, that's their choice. It doesn't affect me and what I'm doing. So
there's definitely guys who do it though, huh?
There is definitely guys that do it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I would want to try it, but man, I know some people who do it every single time. Not going to be me though. I'm not going to be one of them. The idea of, man, it's like the idea of getting really drunk, like let's hop onto the dirt bike and hit, throw a whip over that triple. Yeah. Not a fan of that idea, but I had to ask before I let you go. So, okay. You want to throw out any plugs for how we can follow you on social media, or maybe your CBD sponsor? Unless we get kicked off.
Totally.
Who cares? We're not going to get kicked off YouTube for this. Yeah, throw out a CBD sponsor plug. This is not NBC. Go for it.
Totally. Yeah, no. So my sponsor is CBDMD, and it's just CBDMD.com if you guys are curious and you want to try their product. I mean, and as some of you guys I've seen, Chad Reed's sponsored by him now, so I mean, it can't be the devil's lettuce, so to speak. It's endorsed by some bigger name guys than me. So I would just encourage you guys, like, if you are curious, even just try the topicals and see what happens. I mean, you might be pleasantly surprised. And if you guys want to follow me, my Instagram handle is just at HaslamFMX. So follow along the CB infused journey.
All right. Right on, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to take our phone call, helping to, let people know about just what this is, because AMA released that statement and everyone's been, I'm sure you've seen it online, back and forth, taking sides on all this big CBD debate. So I thought we'd talk to a guy who actually uses it and can throw down on a dirt bike. So I appreciate it, man. So we got another call in we got to take, so I'm going to let you go. But you have a good night, and don't forget, if you're ever down this way, we'd love to have you on in person.
For sure, man. For sure. I'll make a trip out of it.
All right. Sounds good, dude. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Later.
All right. Take care. Bye.
No, I'm not high.
Did you have to wait till the phone call was over to say that?
Yeah, well, everybody's asking.
Well, don't read the comments. I know this is going to be one where we definitely should not read the comments.
Yeah, I don't interrupt on phone calls.
Well, I appreciate him taking the time to talk to us. X Games bronze medalist. Are you leaving?
Yeah, too much water. I'll be right back.
Intern Joe drank too much CBD water. All right, I'll start set up for the next phone call. We have another snow bike guy to talk to. Let's see here. We're going to talk to Darren Mees. So we're going from northern Washington down to southern Oregon. As soon as intern Joe was back. And we'll give him a call. Is Justin high? No, Justin's definitely not high. I really don't have much of a use for THC. I'm not going to get judgmental if you want to use it. I think almost any element or drug can be used properly in a certain situation. It's the abuse is where you get into trouble. And that's just my opinion, my 2 cents on that. I am definitely not really a user, though, because I probably wouldn't be able to function. Just one of those guys that's just not my thing. And I'm actually not even on keto right now, guys. I took a day off, so I had myself a couple... Okay, if we're going to be honest, and I apologize, guys, if I seem a little out of it, I had food poisoning this morning, and I wasn't even sure I could make the show. It was one I felt about as drunk as I possibly could, and everyone wants to know why I'm off. It's like, okay, fine, I got food poisoning, and I feel like I drank 2 bottles of the cheapest Mexican tequila that you could possibly find. The stuff down there that's like $2.95 for a bottle. That's what I feel like I drank today. I just not with the program. So I apologize, guys. I do apologize if I'm not totally on it. I'm not high. I'm not drunk. I am not feeling too great today. Should I show them my toe? Let's see how many followers we lose if I show my toe.
Do it.
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to rein me in. You're doing a bad job reining me in. I'm not going to show you my toe. I have a messed up show.
I'm for good TV.
Robert says, anyone that wants to try the CBDMD and save a little on the cost, they can use discount code. It's Underdog for 20% off at checkout. Okay. So we're going to now have our second call in. Another guy who can absolutely throw down on a dirt bike, a snowmobile, or a snow bike. We're going to call Mr. Darren Mees. Once again, I hope I got the right number.
How's it going, Justin?
Hey, I did put the number in right. How's it going, man?
You did.
All right, so I don't know if you've been listening in, but we've been talking about marijuana and motocross.
Yes, I have been.
Okay.
Listening.
So we already talked to Mr. Robert Haslam, and we're going to call you. Two guys who like the snow bikes, apparently. It's kind of funny how that worked out. Yeah, what a coincidence. But all right, so what's your take on this whole thing? I'm sure you saw the AMA release their statement on not allowing any CBD sponsors. Before we go into the details of CBD, and I know that you definitely have used some products, but before we go into that, what's your opinion on the AMA?
I think it's kind of a shame, just 'cause how much I've seen it's helped a lot of people, but I think obviously there's a lot of controversy. It's a plant that's also has a psychoactive component to it, which is a drug, and so there's probably liability in that, and there's probably also, or I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you'd think that maybe, or maybe the sanctioning body is trying to get money from it or something, or see that they can get some money, or I don't know. There's a lot of things that go on, a lot of
I know there's
there are a lot of people that are liable for different things, so you don't really ever know. But it's kind of, but it's just something that will get worked out because it's helping people, and a matter of time.
Yeah, I can't see it being something that would stay in place forever. Yeah. It just, it seems like we're so behind though, because we can't have a logo shown on a bike at a race of a company that sells a non-psychoactive product. However, we can also tune in the TV and watch Game of Thrones, where they cut each other's throats, rape each other's sisters, and do all this other horrible stuff. I mean, where are we going to fall in them? If this is a moral compass thing, like, where are we falling? Let's not even get into what any 9-year-old can hop over onto the internet and watch.
Right.
Heaven forbid they hear something and they type it into Google. Yet we can't have a CBD logo on a dirt bike that was probably not going to be shown on TV. Let's be real. Like, especially the logo on, who was it? Dean Wilson? Like, no one's going to really, like, on TV, maybe you're not really going to see it though. Like, it seems a little silly. I don't know really who's to blame. I don't think we should totally point fingers. I don't know if it's Feld, AMA, NBC, or is it, the FCC government just saying you can't have that on TV? I don't know. It seems silly to me though. So whoever came up with that, it seems silly to me, but I mean, maybe I could be proven wrong too. But so you use CBD products, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've given you enough of an introduction, but other than having a suspension shop, setting up, people's bikes so they don't flip over the bars when they go through the whoops, you are a X Games competitor. You are, man, what haven't you done? I mean, you can ride a snowmobile, you can ride a snow bike. Obviously, I've ridden with you before on track. You can definitely ride a dirt bike as you've blown by me. Like, what have you not done?
This label, but I just I used to race snowmobiles for a living, and I kind of my career got kind of cut short. I just kind of did what I felt I should do for my family to, and I stopped racing and moved out here, and started. I became a crane operator, and I just couldn't stop. I was racing in my head, and I couldn't stop racing. But then the snow bikes came up, and it's been a blessing. I kind of gotten a second chance, and it's going really good. So yeah, the dirt bikes is just something that I just really like to do. But I've never really I've never been serious about the dirt bikes. But yeah, no, I mean, I've done a lot of different things. I've run a lot of different types of machines, and rode a lot of different types of machines. And it's been a good been good for me. Life's been good, and
Been a good
lucky
run, yeah.
a lot of different things.
So when did you first dabble with this whole CBD thing? I know you're actually sponsored by a company now, right?
Yes, actually, I've been listening to you guys talk about it. It's funny, and I hope that you guys don't think I'm gonna be just trying to sell for my sponsor, but I'll send you a sample so you could tell like this. I've taken CBDs. My wife and I were we're healthy people. We eat very healthy, and I've obviously tried CBD before on two separate types, and I didn't like. I kind of agreed. I'm sorry, I forget the name of your co-host there, but I kind of agree with him, and I didn't notice anything. I was like, oh, you just take this stuff and it's healthy for you or whatever. You must just not feel it, maybe because I'm healthy already or whatever. But and then when this sponsorship came about, we got a bunch of product,
Mm-hmm.
and this stuff's completely different. And what they were telling me, obvious, and it makes sense, is that they're just a local company and they own a juice shop in Bend, Oregon. So it's obviously you know about Bend, Justin, I'm sure, but maybe a lot of people don't know what kind of town it is. It's a real kind of like a hipster town.
Yeah, it's like a little hipster town in the middle of
Exactly.
nowhere, in the middle of the high
Red,
desert of Oregon.
yes.
Not little. It's not a little town. It's actually decent size, but yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and I have a few friends that grow, and I do try. I put up trusses for my day job now, so I do, and a lot of people are building buildings to grow. So I talk to a lot of different people about this stuff, and that it's really competitive, and a lot of people are investing a lot of money and losing all their money,
Oh yeah.
um, and using X amount of active ingredient to make twice as much product as they should with it to try and make the money back and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the avenue to market it and sell it and make the money, it is a miracle thing. I can tell you stories about this guy I gave to for his family and his dogs, and it's crazy what the stuff can do. And I'll send you some of the stuff because, but I took this stuff for the first time, and it's and then I became a believer. It was pretty cool, but and my dogs too.
So
But
what do you use it for? Is it for pain? Is it for anxiety? What's the reason that you use it?
I just take it because we get it. But I wouldn't have taken it. Now I take it. It's helped me a ton with my racing, just with anxiety, and nervousness and stuff that I didn't even really think I had too much of a problem with. But yeah, the stuff, it definitely calms you down and takes away like stress that you have that you don't even really kind of know that you have. But other than that, I'm definitely don't get sore anymore, and it definitely, I noticed that I'm a little more flexible.
Really?
Other than that, yeah, I'm a pretty healthy person. It's the first time I took it, so I gave it to one of my friends that's I don't smoke. Actually, I passed the uh, DMV or a ODOT random UA. For my job, I have to get random once in a while,
Okay.
and I passed those whenever, all the time. And but yeah, I gave this stuff to a guy, one of my friends. He's a heavy smoker,
Okay.
not cigarettes. and he smokes a lot of weed, and he took this stuff. I just gave him a dropper full of it, and he called me 15 minutes later. He's like, "Hey, what is this stuff? You're this? We playing it?" He thought I was playing a joke on him. It was like a drug or something, because he said his whole body felt like kind of numb, and he's like, "I feel really good, but like, are you playing? Is this not what I think it is, or something like that, or whatever?" But he smokes all the time, constantly, all day, and he even got, there's a lot more to it, from what I understand, than just the CBD, or just the CBD. There's a lot of really good things about this plant.
Oh yeah, it
that
has a
that
lot
is
of compounds in it.
So yeah, no, I'm a huge believer, and then my I don't want to soak up all your time, but I got a guy, an older guy, that helps me with a lot of fabrication stuff that I do. And his dad has Alzheimer's. Guy wouldn't even get off the couch, and now he walks up and down his driveway 3 times a day. His dogs, I gave it to him he gives them to his dogs too. He got a German Shepherd that was like kind of just, he's just getting old, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, and he called me the next day. He's like, "My German Shepherd, I couldn't believe it. I started tearing up. My German Shepherd jumped up onto my chest today. He hasn't done that in like 5 years." And so yeah, just like crazy stuff, and it's just cool to hear that it helps people like that.
And why I think it's a hot topic right now, I think why there's a lot of people who are really fighting back against the stigma is, understandably, it comes from the same plant as what, we all remember the guy who was smoking a blunt, or maybe a lot of people, or the guy who was smoking a blunt in high school, and everyone just kind of associates CBD along with that. But I think you need to recognize there's a difference. You're not getting high,
There's a big
unless,
difference.
I mean, have you ever taken so much CBD that you were like felt high, like you're smoking weed?
Actually, I asked. So my sponsor is Rooted Hemp, and
Okay.
I've asked them all these questions.
Okay.
I said, how much is too much? They told me they were at a convention one time, and they took too much. They took like way too much, and they got just groggy and went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I don't know. We get the stuff, so I take a lot of it, and I don't. I've never taken too much. I just always just feel a little better. I don't think you can. I don't think you can overdose. I don't think anything can happen but good things. It's just I haven't seen any markers of that.
So, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard any reports of CBD. Really,
On the
like,
other hand, I've seen people get addicted to painkillers from being injured.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that we were talking, like, we should actually have a podcast about that sometime. And that's, I mean, it's the motocrosser's curse. How many people have gone down that path?
Yeah.
And
Their
we're,
fault.
we're
They get hurt, and then they're hooked on painkillers, and next thing you know.
yeah, we're going to go into the THC side in a moment, but I want to finish up on the CBD. I mean, I don't think you can take enough of it to, I mean, do you believe you can take enough to actually impair you if you were to go out and ride?
No, you can't. No way.
I don't see how it would impair you in any way. If anything, like I took too much one time. I took way more than the recommended dosage, just out of curiosity, because I'd taken it a few times, and this was before I knew a ton about it. But I was like, okay, so what will happen? And kind of like you said, I got a little groggy, and I kind of felt like it was kind of this sort of warm numbness, but I didn't feel impaired whatsoever. I didn't feel like I could not function, sit down and type, or write. I didn't feel high. It's almost hard to describe, but I definitely took way more than recommended dose, but it didn't impair me. I didn't feel like it messed with my head at all. And so yeah, that's where I'm like, if it doesn't impair you,
Yeah.
whereas it's very obvious THC can impair you, and we've all seen that one guy who smoked way too much. But,
Right.
but I don't. I mean, do you believe that you can take too much and it'll impair you and become a problem?
No, I think that's why it's not labeled as a psychoactive drug.
And that's why you can probably buy it at a gas station. In water.
Right.
I mean,
It's
we're
all,
drinking water right now, CBD sparkling water from Mountain Joy.
and you don't feel high?
Oh, yeah, no, we drank the whole thing. Do you feel high, Joe?
No.
Joe, you just said something. That was the first time you said something like 15 minutes.
I mean, no, my mic was off.
Oh, can you turn your mic off?
Yeah.
You literally, my co-host is so quiet, he literally turned his mic off.
It must be because I'm high.
Oh, are you high?
I'm so high, I turned my mic off on accident.
Are you high?
No.
Okay. See, we just drank water. We're not high.
Yeah, I drink it quick, too.
So but we're gonna pause real quick. So we drank the whole water. Yeah, you drank yours a lot faster than mine. Do you feel anything?
No. Nothing negative.
Yeah, nothing negative. It was tasty water. If anything, I don't know, maybe relaxed a little more. I do feel a little more relaxed. Maybe these aren't, the waters aren't really potent. It has 10 milligrams.
I think it's counteracting all the carbs I've ate in the last 4 days because
Dude, we should have
My muscles
waffles
don't
on
hurt as
Moto
bad.
Monday. We should have a Moto Monday waffle episode.
okay.
I'm down for waffles.
And hot dogs.
The once every 3 months I'm allowed to have waffles. Let's do it on the show. Anyways, back to weed.
Back to weed.
Back to weed. So, okay, so what about, let's just go here for a minute. What about THC? What do you think about the guys who go blaze and ride? Good, bad, doesn't matter. What do you think? Your opinion.
I don't feel we're in the Pacific Northwest. We've all ridden with guys that are smoking weed. I don't feel endangered when riding with those people at all. Everyone I'm sure has a different opinion. On the other hand, I've ridden with people that's seen people drinking and riding, and I won't be anywhere near them on the track. But that's just my opinion. I think that everyone probably responds differently to something like that. And but there's some people that do it and ride better. You can see it, and some people the only people that I've seen do it and ride pretty good.
Which is odd, right? Because see, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I've tried to figure this out. So I'm not a regular user whatsoever of any THC products. It's just not my thing. Some people take to it well. I will probably just sit there, eat a bunch of potato chips, and get nothing done. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
It's some people it's crazy how they can function day to day and how much they smoke. I'm not one of those people, so I'm not going there. I have seen people, and I will not name names, and it's not been at my track, but I've been at a couple different places and seen some pretty high level pros smoke right before their moto. And now we're not talking take a hit. We're talking smoke out their box van. Like they step out of their van, smoke coming out. I don't like seeing that. I think that doesn't really send a great message. I'm not a fan of that. But getting past that though, I'm surprised how well they ride for something supposed to slow down your senses. I haven't fully figured that one out, but I've seen some very, very fast people obviously ride after smoking and do very well. I don't know if it helps them get into that like flow state that we all want to, you know those days when it clicks, you're in that flow state and you just go. I don't know if some people it helps them find that. I haven't figured that out, but I remember the first time it just baffled me. Like I saw this guy go out and win a pro moto. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because if you were to go slam 3 shots of Jack Daniels, you're just going to end up on your face.
Yeah.
And there may be some people who smoke and do end up on their face too. Maybe it's just them. I don't know.
I know of people that actually function better. Growing up, they function better while high, which is weird because it's the total opposite for most people.
Right.
Total opposite. There's something in their chemistry or something. I don't know.
I will chime in and say that I don't think you'll see those guys. You see a lot of those people, but I don't think they'd be successful in going to a new track that they haven't rode before, racing at a professional level, and with that, with that that approach. But I think guys that are riding a track that they're comfortable at and that
Oh, okay. So you think it might just help them flow on
I
something
don't
they've already
know.
been. Well, this is
That's what I
this is
think.
all
Yeah,
opinions. I mean,
that's what I think.
we're
Yeah.
none of us here are really experts.
Well, they
so,
also
but
did a
Right.
study back in the day that if you learn things while drunk, you remember those things while drunk, but not while sober. So,
Okay.
so maybe they're just so high all the time that
that triggers their memory of the track and how they're right, or maybe the stuff they've learned on their bike.
yeah,
That
could
would
be.
make
But
sense.
I think Harvard or somebody did a study on it, and
I remember that.
a bunch
Now
of
you bring
people
that
got
up.
drunk, took a test, and then took the same test not drunk, and didn't get as high of a score as they did when they were drunk because when they were studying they were
right.
drunk.
You
Huh.
brought up a study that I forgot about. I'm impressed, Joe. I give you a high five, sir.
I
don't-
talked.
and you talk. We're making progress here. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but you might have a good point there. Though they might not do as well though, going to a new track or a new situation. Or, I mean, let's be real. It's mostly been local level. I mean, the tippity top of the spear, the 0.01%, AMA Supercross, maybe wouldn't work quite the same for them.
Yeah, those guys are not doing that.
Yeah. Oh no. That's interesting. Merely just for a talking point, but I have been rather baffled how well some people appear to ride after watching them step out of their box van. You know what I mean? Which
It's an odd thing.
which is why some of the local pros park their vans way away from the promoters. So,
They should be doing if they're going to be doing that. Yeah.
which true, that's also good. Like if you're going to do that, let's not do it right in front of everyone. That's not something, especially as a promoter. I don't really want to see that. Like I don't care what you do in your own home. I don't care about a lot of stuff. Do whatever. I don't, but at the track, I don't want someone that a bunch of kids are looking up to stepping out of their box van, blaze, and the kids can smell the weed smoke. Just like I don't
Right.
want them to see someone taking a shot of whiskey right before they step on their bike and go ride. And both of those will get you, I'll have to come talk to you like, hey, bro, you can't ride. Like, and
Yeah.
they know that, and that's why they don't park by us, because we catch them. We kind of got to tell them, hey, no, you're not hopping on your bike. But that's so they park away where they know that people like me or at the other tracks, the other promoters will not see them, and they go do that. But that's why sometimes when I'm wandering around or hanging around other tracks, I'll run into that like, oh, so that's why your van's over there behind the tree. But I'm just observing. But I've been rather surprised. Some of them actually can function pretty well. I've never seen someone take a shot of whiskey and function too great on the track, though. That may change someday. I don't know. I may see Chad Reed race the 40+ class somewhere and slam a shot of whiskey and go out there. And I may be proved wrong. But you know
If
what?
Jason Lawrence comes back.
If Jason Lawrence, yes,
I grew up on the coast and watched him do a lot of things, and he's impressive. I miss him.
he's a wild man. Or yeah, I don't know what he's even up to these days.
But everyone else needs to know that they're not Jason Lawrence.
Well, no. Let's just not go there. And I'm a fan of the idea of let's just not try out either one. Let's just show up, drink some Gatorade or something, and go ride.
Right.
I'll stick to my peppermint a while. We're gonna have to let you go here in a couple minutes, man. But
Yes.
it was good to at least talk to someone who has tried products, used them, and you're someone who I consider a guy who's gotten very far within the industry and someone who lives a pretty healthy life. I follow your guys' social media, so I thought it would be good to get your opinion on all this stuff going on. It's been a hot topic in the past week in motocross. Dude, it's been blowing up some of the little message boards and Facebook groups and stuff. So I thought this is a good one to maybe talk about a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here.
Before we let you go, let's see. We covered THC, CBD. Joe, you're talking a little more. Anything else you want to throw out?
No,
That's
other
all you
than I
got?
feel fine.
Yeah, we're not high yet. I feel like we would break the internet if we smoked a blunt on the show, though.
Yeah, I
Who
wouldn't do that.
Who was that Joe Rogan had on his show? The guy who owns Tesla.
Elon Musk or something.
Elon Musk.
He got Elon Musk. Now, granted, I think he just took a hit, but when I watched that, That's legend status. You just made a billionaire smoke weed. I feel like I think his shares went down immediately after he did that, but that about broke the internet, dude. There's T-shirts out and everything. But I don't think we're gonna do that. Yeah, let's just not. Darren, what you got real quick? What you got going for 2019? You gonna be doing any racing? Anything fun?
Yeah, I mean, I just raced X is snow bike racing. But yeah, I have a suspension company, so I'll be running around the Northwest. I'll probably do some races.
Okay.
Maybe some of the bigger ones in the Northwest. Yeah, I kind of just in the summer I just kind of take it day by day, and wherever my suspension customers lead me, I go. But yeah, no plans for dirt bike racing is what I assume you're referring to. But a few more snow bike races this year, and that'd be that's all I have planned at least.
Okay. And you're living the family life now and working. You got your suspension company. You're still playing. I mean, still staying plenty busy. So hopefully we'll at least see you at a few Mountain View events. Hopefully.
See me there. I'll be there.
Okay. Well, how about throwing out some plugs? How can we find your suspension company or you, like on social media? You got a website, any of that good stuff?
My suspension company is M9 Suspension, and the CBD company I'm sponsored by is Rooted Hemp, and it's rootedhempco.com. And if you do want to try it, I have a $25 off coupon code. It's MEES25, I believe.
Okay.
And yeah, I appreciate you letting me make those plugs. But yeah, I've seen it really change people's lives. So I'll send you one. You can try it and see what you think. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like it's MEES25, rootedhempco.com. And if you guys want to go check it out, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, man. And I wish you the best of luck this year. Hopefully you stay busy, and maybe we'll get to spin a few laps once the sun comes out and you get your dirt bike out.
Yeah, definitely. I will. I'll see you up at Mountain View.
Sounds good, bro. Well, hey, you have a good night. We're going to have to wrap this up in just a few, so I will catch up with you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye. Kind of fun. We got two X Games snow bike guys. One flips, the other guy goes really fast. Darren Mees is a racer, former professional snowmobile racer and snow bike racer. Pretty quick on dirt bike, too. And then Robert Haslam can flip those things upside down. Freestyle motocrosser, just got into the snow bike gig, and I believe we talked to him a few weeks ago, in his first ever like real event, he got a gold. It's not a gold. I'm sorry. Probably he was going for the gold. He got a bronze. He got a bronze at his first ever X Games. That's impressive.
It's good.
Not bad. So appreciate those guys taking the time to talk about a little bit what they got going on. And guys who use CBD all the time, and both of those guys, if you meet them in person, some of the cleanest, healthiest guys, like, not to go deep into their lives, but these are people who, they're athletes. They take care of themselves. They're not partiers. They take care of themselves very well, and I respect their opinion on a lot of stuff because of that, and because I've gotten to know them a little both, and of course, you pick up things, follow them on social media. Like, these are people who take care of themselves. So I'm just trying to, we're trying to remove a little bit of the stigma that I feel like CBD has around it, because we're not a bunch of stoners. I'm not a stoner, and I like CBD. We drink CBD water. We're not getting high. So yeah, we're an hour in. By now, I think you figured out. I will endorse CBD. I think it's a good thing to use. It's not a cure-all for anything, but I think it's something that it's definitely a good, healthy thing that you can use, and it's non-psychoactive, so it doesn't get you high. If we want to talk about getting high, like I brought up briefly with both those guys, we all kind of agree, should probably not go get high and go do extreme sports. One, it's not a good look. Two, might not always go well. I know there's some people that say they do really well on it. Okay, we don't have time to argue that. I'm probably never going to do it. I don't think I could ever endorse you going and getting drunk, high, or intoxicated in any manner and going out and riding a dirt bike. It's just, that's a tough sell, man. That's a tough sell to go do. You need your focus. Go focus. I'm not saying to go take a bunch of ADHD medication
Adderall.
and let's not pop 3 Adderall in and just wig out and just go. Okay? That's not the best idea either. Be healthy, work out, stay hydrated, go pin your dirt bike. I think that's the best thing. So, before we wrap this up, you and me, right here. AMA, what's your opinion on that statement?
Oh, about not having the CBD sponsors?
They released a statement saying that no CBD sponsors will be allowed. And if you leave them on your hauler, your Easy Up, or your bike and don't remove them, you may be asked to leave. What do you think of that? A little harsh?
I think it's a little harsh because I think that they would take a sponsorship from CBD company themselves.
Do you think it's just the AMA and Feld, or do you think it's the NBC or maybe even the government cracking down because it is on television? That's why I'm not going to totally condemn them. It's like, is this a federal regulation? Is this a federal regulation for a sport? Because that's the kicker. Before you guys totally slam AMA and Feld, it could be them simply getting pressure. Now, I think that's dumb too, because like I said, you can also go onto television and see Viagra ads all day long. I mean, they're talking about their happy penises over and over and over. Okay, That's lovely. And you can see Game of Thrones. And like I said, you can get all these other things legally. Like if we want to get into chemical compounds, there's a lot of stuff you can legally buy that are way worse for your body than CBD. I brought up salvia. Salvia will make you talk to Jesus. You smoke a cigarette. You fill that thing up instead of tobacco, just straight salvia. You smoke that thing, you will wish you were dead. You will literally be talking to Jesus with horns coming out of his head, and you will be seeing colors that you've never seen before. You'll be hearing colors you've never heard before. You'll probably mess your pants. Like just one cigarette worth, and you can go buy that anywhere. There's a place down the road that sells salvia. You can go buy it. That's fine. That's legal. I don't even think you have to show your ID. No, you don't. I remember reading the regulations on this. Because it blew my mind. Like, you don't even have to show your ID, and you can go buy that, one of the most powerful psychoactive drugs out there. No big deal. That's fine. But CBD, we just drink water. We're not high. We could drink 10 of these. We're not going to get high. Sorry. I said I wouldn't read the comments. I said I wouldn't do it, and I did it. Okay. No more reading them. That's my thing. Whoever's fault it is, can we just fix it? Whoever the guy is, it's one guy eventually at the top that started all this. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to blame AMA or Feld or NBC or the government or anything. I don't know who started all this, but it's silly to me. Like, it's silly. To me, CBD is like ibuprofen. You should be able to buy it like ibuprofen because you can't get high off it. If anything, it's better for your liver than any NSAID like ibuprofen. So, weed, totally different thing. Totally different thing. You can get high. You can get so crazy high off weed. Totally different topic. And I will have a lot more issues with someone who wants to endorse that. If we want to talk about that being on national television, I am totally down on having a hardcore discussion on how you should do that, because it's just like how. So, do you know they actually can't show cigarette ads? You know how it used to be the camel smoker cross, as they called it, the camel supercross? They can't do that anymore because they feel like that's showing kids a bad habit. It brought in a lot of money. There's that side. The other side is, I get it. You don't really want to push the bad habit. I don't know at what point is that really going to influence kids, but there's a definite possibility. I get it.
Yeah, Coors Supercross. There was Winston Cup. There's a lot of alcohol and tobacco.
And they're removing them. And I kind of get it. We could have a lot better conversation about that. If you want to run marijuana leaves on your bike for National Supercross, okay, we got something we got to figure out. I don't know if I would endorse that or not. I don't know. I would have to sit down and think about this more. I sat down and thought about the CBD, took everything I know about CBD, looked up a little more just to kind of make sure I'm on the right page. I don't see a problem.
I mean, if they could prove negative effects.
Well, yeah, exactly.
CBD.
If there's negative effects, but show me a double-blind placebo study where CBD had a adverse reaction to this amount of people, or caused this amount of people to not be able to, function properly or something. Give me something like that. Oh, yeah, I'm totally down for discussing. Maybe it's not a good idea, but I haven't seen anything. Where's the evidence? If you show me evidence, I will totally change my tune because I don't have a dog in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But for the evidence that's been shown, there's really nothing wrong with every single person racing Supercross taking a little CBD. So, anyways, we're gonna have to wrap the show up. That's my thoughts. I tried not to rant too much. How'd I do?
Did pretty good.
Did I rant a little?
Didn't bring up pit bikes once.
Not one pit bike reference. We have an after
Proud
show
of
to
ya.
do here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna come out then.
It might. Now that you said it, we might talk pit bikes. Yeah. So I don't know. That's marijuana and motocross, how they mix. I think most everyone agreed, at least on the CBD side, not a big deal. THC, that's a little dirty of a discussion. I mean, we could get into that in the after show, but CBD, that's the main thing. That's what's hot right now in the internet. That's what everyone's talking about on all the little Facebook groups and stuff. So I felt like that was a good one to really focus on. So, but there's way more than just CBD and THC and marijuana or cannabis. Sorry, proper cannabis. It's really an interesting plant, and I've said this. This is my 6th time saying this. I'm not a stoner, and I think a lot of true stoners really over exaggerate what the plant can do for you. But there's some interesting properties. It's a very interesting plant. Outside of obviously smoking a blunt, but there's some interesting properties in there. That way we could have more of a fun discussion about. But outside of just those, and I think we haven't really explored all of those. But we're not. This is not a plant podcast. We could go in all sorts of plants. We didn't even go into kratom. I was going to go into kratom. We can have a whole dude. We need to do a kratom podcast because I can say kratom was a huge help for me, and I will probably never use another opiate. Am I saying it right? Opiate, whatever. Again,
opiate, yeah.
Thanks to kratom. A little more dangerous of a drug or plant. A little different topic, but when I found kratom, I became a fan, and I'll never. You get hurt, they give you codeine. I'll probably never take codeine again, unless I'm forced to in the hospital or something. But I try to stay away from any true opiates, no matter how hurt I am, if possible. I've just seen too many people take a dark path from them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to mess around with narcotics. Okay. Everyone's like, you're done. Comments? Yeah, see, this is what happens when I read the comments. They're like, you guys are done. You done? Yes, we're done. We're going to go to the after show in a few minutes. Thank you, guys. This has been Moto Monday number 84. We touched on the touchy topic. That's a lot of T's. Of marijuana and motocross. I think we did okay, though. So we're going to get out of here. Back in a few minutes over on Facebook.
Peace out.
Later.